Okie dokie. I think it's time to make some stuff. Right? We might start with some guitar today. And then we'll look at the vocoder and try to make it somewhat more intelligible. Hi, Solar. How are you doing, Sid? You fast. I just started like 1 second. Didn't even finish one sentence. You quick. Super quick. I'm realizing this recorder is, I mean, I know what I say, but listening back, I realized it's kind of tough to understand this. Yeah, I was about to press stream, and then I pressed record, and then I thought, yeah, well, I'm just gonna upload this video. And just quick noodling around. Where is it? Where is it? Let's get the bass. Let's track that. Something, something. Are you familiar with probably most DAWs or any kind of yeah, pretty much anything I think has the capability of audio to MIDI, which is pretty powerful. Say you're mostly a vocalist, not too much of an instrumentalist, or even if you are an expert instrumentalist, I find that singing is one of the best tools to capture a vibe. And with the voice, we are so versatile. If we program, it is less likely we will have something very human. We maybe have to get back, use regroove, use a shuffle, or whatever. But when we record wave and turn that wave into MIDI, we have the pitch and the rhythm, and we can just transport it to the rest of our production. But we kind of capturing the groove and the vibe, which is very helpful. I can show later how I do that in Reason, or it's possible in anything, I think. But let's make this Celeste real quick, and then probably some strings.
Yeah, I feel him. I delete vocals all the time.
Not so sure about this melody yet. Don't you know, don't you know, don't you? And if you don't know, now you know. No. just could do strings first, maybe. Probably that will do less than just do a panel something. Maybe just pentatonic. Okay, maybe just simple. God damn it. If I could count, that would be so dope. That's it. Nothing fancy, it just needs to work. Don't overcomplicate shit. Maybe. And I believe we soon will have to, because before, most of all the good stuff was pretty much mono, except for the reverb. We will have to start considering the pan of this band, because it cannot all be center. That's just not good. And I don't, first of all, it is much more interesting as a more interesting stereo image, but also if you do pan, you spend so much less time fiddling with masking frequencies. Why spend all the time being the EQ doctor if you could just let everything live in their own space? Trying to make life more easy. Okay, we're gonna do the stereo thing right now. The brass is already right. Let's put the brass 50 to the right. Strings go 50 to the left. Piano goes 25 to the left. Organ goes 25 to the right. Okay. I think that's it. I guess. Let's record that real quick before it goes away. Told you I can count. Let's do that again, right? Let's do it again. A good friend told me there's two ways of doing things, the right way and again. Let's do this again. And that's not good enough, not good enough. Haha, again. Nah, too many. Too many steps and stops with this. Not so much modulation on the speakers. I'm not so sure how happy I am about that. It's too much in the foreground. But well, we're building a basic block. It's not arranged. We're getting the band together. on a second. What do I need to do? I still need to create a track for this, right? So I can write automation. Oh, nice. It's already mapped. Superb. Also, what's very practical is if you want to give something more bounds, if you want to give something more bounds, I haven't done it too often, but if you do have power, let you see. Oh, not like that. When you have parallel channels like drum compression and whatnot, if you want to accentuate, think about it like a drummer. You could program pretty much really rigid on the grid. But if you kind of have an accentuation pattern moving this fader, like for the compression, you get significantly more in bounds. I'll over exaggerate it for a second. Okay, of course, we are not going to do that like that for real because we are clipping the hell out of this, and that's not good. But I think you kind of heard what it does. It's really like the oomph, smacking you right there. And that's what it's supposed to do. But I wanted it back where it was. Where was that? Was it there? I guess maybe. We'll find out. And without automation, we don't feel the emphasis on these beats. And it's very practical. It's a way to humanize a program beat really quick. Still, what was that? Nice. I have an issue with this organ. Not sure what it is yet, but maybe later with this organ. We need to track some guitar. But before that, we could actually already do little test sampling. Let's put this in Mimic, one of my favorite toys. It's hard making music on an old machine. Now that we have this, let's see where it might go if we mess with it. First thing first, we want this to be mono retriggering. We don't want to have multiple samples overlapping and being in poly. We want it to play through so we can really control wherever we want these chops to end and to last. Most of the time, I like tape sometimes, but the issue with tape is it behaves like tape. If you slow down the tape, the pitch goes down. If you speed it up, the pitch goes up. But if you want to have independent control, then you would need to choose any of the other modes but tape. Usually I will use advanced most of the time. I find it has usually the cleanest results in considering stretching algorithms. I have used them all, and I will most often test them. Like my go-to will be granular and advanced. Tape sometimes I automate stuff like that. Melody and vocal I don't use too often. I find it introduces artifacts that I don't really like very often. Sometimes it can be cool, but I can't recall that I ever really used it. I can always either use advanced most of the time, like probably 80%, and granular. But if I really want to do something granular, there's grain, right? No reason to do it in Mimic, not necessarily. The only thing I wish that grain could probably do, it would be so dope if grain also had multiple slots. So you don't have to have as many instances of this. Let's noodle a little bit with it, and then we keep making this disco funk kind of thing and try to lay down some vocals. Also, we will probably going back and forth between this BVX, and we might use Neptune, which is also a decent pitch thing. Hold up. Where is it right now? There it is. Let's put it in here. You can also use that. It does introduce some frequency, some latency, as you can see, kind of crazy frequency latency. Like, look at that shit. It went from 1.2 to 50 milliseconds really fast. I mean, let's bypass this again and compare numbers. This is the DSP load with the processor on. And that's just, and that's the latency of this pass without. It's kind of pretty wild, I think. But I mean, well, it does have a button for live mode, and it also it does make an. But still, I find it may probably not be the best suited for live application. It's doable, but still though. And same with Neptune or is the BVX. You can play chords and become a choir, right?
You know, this kind of shit.
But there is a lot of stuff to take care of with a vocoder so you understand and don't just have the vibe. We are going to do the same thing that we did for the scale on, oh my god, this is kind of annoying. We're gonna do the same thing for the scale that we did in the BVX. We're gonna select the blues scale, the minor blues scale of E flat minor, plus one more note, kind of the leading tune into our tonic. And we have that trill. Also then the pitch correction has a little bit more wiggle room. So what notes would we need? This one, this, all right? If I'm not mistaken. Then we probably want this one, and that one. And if we snap this on right now, yeah. Let's increase the speed so it's more chipmunky. Yeah. You can do something like preserve expression. It makes some artifacts that I'm also not too fond of. You know, it gets garbled, kind of wild. Let's dial the speed correction back to maybe something here. So we still have some human elements in there. And it's not like getting yanked rigidly in like a brick wall limiter, just cutting it off. So there's still movement towards the note and not just like, you know what I mean. Let's create a track for this so we can actually play it. So now we could play chords, right? Now we can control the input with our MIDI keyboard. Or you can see this here. You could choose the level. You could say, I don't want any of the pitch signal. I just want the synth voice coming back. And then you realize you don't hear me at all because it's not sending out the pitch corrected voice. It will only send kind of like a gate when we press a key. And something must be missing, obviously. I'm not quite sure what I am overlooking in the functionality of this. Am I in the wrong? Maybe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go. Now we can play chords as long as we press it down. Don't you know? Don't you? You can kind of create this kind of barbershop chord. But also, one more thing. If I'm correct, I probably should have that plugin. It's, I think, in the Native Instrument Essential subscription. What is it called? Vocal Synth something, right? Ooh, yeah, we got that. Maybe we'll play with it. I know it a little bit. I don't know it too well, and I kind of don't want to waste too much time with sound designing or learning a plugin. We want to create some music at the end of the day, right? I want to upload something that you can use. So let's listen back to this, whatever it is. Also, we're probably not going to use Neptune today, but I want to do stuff with this BVX, kind of sure. So let's try that.
Down, you down, one octave too low. Down, you down, down, you down,
It's somewhat like a talk box, but not quite. Okay, let's see what we can get out of this thing. Now let's put this form in back, reduce the spectral spread and the resonance. And we can do all kinds of things with this recorder. We could just use Unison to create a choir instantaneously.
Like now I'm just talking, but if we press that, now we have, yeah, got so high, come on, yeah.
But usually I probably would put this voice spread back to 50, so it's not too stereo. And another cool thing that you can do with it is, even without playing it or like sending MIDI notes or using the Unison, we could kind of create a more depth with it by using this harmonic mix. Like obviously the root is just the voice that from you, but we could add subharmonic and overtones. All right. That way you can get like some really significant bass in there, and get some kind of glitched out vocal that you can, all the good stuff, chopping it up, and you do your thing.
Do you know that you know you know? Do you know? Hey.
You can do this kind of glitch out stuff. Probably more useful for, I don't know, a bridge, maybe in the chorus as background. I probably would refrain from trying to use this for the lead vocal, at least not the whole time. It is not very easy to make it intelligible enough, I think. It's possible, but you need to spend some time and you also need to practice a little bit to, like, especially when you have a high value of this correction speed, you kind of need to learn to sing off key so you get the desired effect of the pitch correction. Like you have to kind of sing controlled off pitch. And it's so funny, like when you bypass it and you go back and forth monitoring your take, it's cool when you have it on. And when you have it off, it sounds so terrible.
Kind of stuff.
But still, probably we keep just writing. And actually, yeah, I can just leave this bypassed. But this vocoder is problematic. I wish I knew how to do that better. But, well, it is what it is. On the other hand, we haven't listened really to what Mimic could do. We have this sample on Mimic, right? Let's listen to what we could do with that. I kind of forgot about this. I wanted to show the BBX. And don't you know, don't you know, don't you? Don't you know, don't you know, don't you? Don't you know, oh, 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 don't you know, oh, 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 oh. I forgot that this is tape stuff. Oh, we pitch it up. I usually always pitch it down. I don't know why. You can do a lot of dirty stuff. And then we could, of course, put maybe a little bit of delay or something on it. Guess you use some Ripley, dispose, some reverb, some delay, some noise, some distortion. You know where this is going, right? But so we don't get lost in this. And also, this is not my job. This is your job. I make the samples, you flip them. I can't do it all, you know? Time is short. And I wasted enough. God knows. Okay, let's... I think I need to... You know what? I'm gonna sample this real quick into grain. Mess a little bit around with it. I'll take a break and I come back maybe in an hour or so. I don't know. Okay, that's enough for our purpose. So now we're gonna go to grain. And grain, for anybody who loves sound design and glitch out, whatever, you can do pretty much anything with grain. And that's the thing without doing anything to it. Let's take out this effect on this bus. Let's start to mess with it. Like first, grain, length, and rate. Do you hear how this stereo image kind of like a ping pong or like a Leslie speaker? That's when you, I don't know how much you can actually see. When you mess with this pan spread. Let's make the grain like bigger. Now you can really feel it. Left, right, left, right, left, right, stuttering. Let's dial that back, that's too wide. Increase the rate, get more volume. Let's put the speed back to where it was. We're gonna go now through a ladder pass filter. We can use this for an intro. You know, like you hear the beat from next door. Also good automation or genre for songwriting, but I mean, it has been done like a million times. You can kind of imagine a music video. It starts with the intro, somebody's maybe just on the porch or coming onto the property and they can hear faintly the beat starting or in front of the club, and then you can fade it in, you know? And when the person opens the door, then you open up the filter like the door opens and that, boom, you're on the floor. Like slowly, person walks up. I think today they actually do have some real good music. Let's see. I think I already know what it sounds like. Imagining like this skit conversation. The two friends that are about to go to the party. I heard they got some disco funk tonight. Damn, sounds fire in here. Bullshit like that, But what's even more fun, of course, we need some resonance, right? Because nobody is fond of ear fatigue, so we're gonna reduce the high frequency spectrum. If we want modulation, we can go into this modulation matrix. We can go in this modulation matrix and say, choose anything that we'd like and really route it anywhere. Your imagination is the only limit, hands down. I really just scratched the surface with all of this, and there's so much that can be done. Really, sky is the limit. Oh no, your imagination is. Seriously. But let's say we're going to send this LFO to the ladder pass frequency cutoff, okay? I'm gonna choose filter and frequency, and then we can dial that in. Also, we can control the speed here. We could also automatically sync it to our tempo or to a, what is it called? You know what I mean. You can choose a value by beat resolution, core aids, whatever you need. Or when you're the type that likes free-floating LFOs that are not in sync with the project and you want to do automation on that, you can do that too. You could also use a one LFO to modulate the rate of the other LFO. Like, you can do whatever the hell you please. But I don't want it to mess too much with the frequency right now, so we are going to take this frequency out of here. And what I actually would want this LFO to be modulating, but not as aggressive, we are going to switch now from forward loop to my favorite, I don't know what to call it, even playback mode. This is the freeze mode. As the name suggests, the playhead is stationary, which is pretty damn cool because you couldn't do crazy stuff. You can go to a moment, a grain, and make that moment a playable instrument because it has keyboard tracking, right? Like I say. And also, we could automate the hell out of this. Like, okay, the frequency is a little bit too cut off. You can do crazy stuff. It's a little bit difficult when you have drums in there too. Then probably I would reduce the speed greatly so I have more control. But also, to have less hands-on automation, let's put this LFO to the position of the playhead, and then we will see this is going to be oscillating left and right. Let's reduce the speed because this is not making sense. If you just had, say, instruments in there without drums, you can do it with drums too. But what's also pretty cool is you have the option of adding an oscillator, which is very useful if you do use this freeze mode because it will help accentuate your fundamental. Now you hear it has kind of sub bass in there, which is pretty awesome, I think. Of course, there's inside effects that we could be using. Sometimes I do use the phaser. Hello, Joey. Ask somebody glasses. Ask somebody glasses. Well, don't ask me. I may have glasses. I know nothing. Well, there's so many Reason users, man. It wasn't like that years back, but I think Reason really has gotten there. I kind of, it was the first DAW that I used, and I just stuck with it. But I remember, like, sometimes back, yeah, man. I mean, it is a very versatile software. You can use it with anything. Like, they are all compatible. You can use it as a rec plugin. Like, I know a lot of producers, they prefer other DAWs for their main stuff. Damn, I think I started on Reason 5.0. And in the first years, it wasn't about production. I had a super old keyboard and I could not listen to the badly sampled piano anymore. And that's actually the only reason why I asked a friend who knew more about computer and music to help me. I mean, I've been putting good money in the ecosystem, but back then I didn't have a copy that was all that legal. But I paid them back greatly. I'm still waiting for them to pay my subscription. I'm not sponsored by them. And I'm thinking like, you know, I'm kind of like quite the advertising platform for this. But there are so many good channels, you know. Yeah, and you know what? A lot of NPC guys also do use Reason, I think. Also, it's not a challenge. Like, I love, you know, Chris Lord Angel. I hope I didn't butcher his name. I mean, he is one super established producer. He has big brands partnering with him. There's, I don't know how many plugins from Wave and whatnot that are starting with CLA. And he says it himself, kind of defeating the purpose if he were just about making money, because him sure he gets some percentage of that. He says it's not the gear, it is the ear. That's why I'm starting to sell and give away so much equipment, because with Reason, after more than a decade, and in the last 5 years, I believe to have been more serious about this, still, I don't know a fraction of all the things that are possible. Like, seriously, it's crazy. It's just crazy. What you could do in grain alone, whatever kind of music you're producing, especially, he has a lot of amazing plugins. He's also a hell of a producer. He knows music. And I really admire when I heard him say that, when he said, it is not the gear, it is the ear. Like, it's not the tool, but how you use it. You can, or, you know, like, there are so many analog idioms to this. Same like, you know, with this supposedly Bruce Lee quote from "Don't fear the man who practiced 10,000 kicks. Practice the man who fear the man who practice, although the woman that practices one kick, right? Like, and also same with piano. I can kind of noodle, but now I'm really going back and doing scale exercises because I'm realizing it's not about the flashy stuff. It is about the bread and butter. 99% of all the good music is simple. but simplicity is beauty. And to acquire real beautiful simplicity is the hardest thing because it's easy to be flashy. You just have to shake your wrist and play something fast. And most people will think, oh, that's something. No, it's just something fast. That doesn't mean it's good. Does it move you? Does it have any feeling? Does it have any meaning to it? Does it have any body, any weight? That's why the samples never get finished. Now, simple absolutely doesn't mean childish, maybe even in the contrary. We just really this is the first thing. Da da dum dum dum. I don't need to play something crazy. I could just wait. I could just wait for it to come. It doesn't have to be something like, I don't know, Zulu, bebop, blues league. Like, why? Seriously, just why? Maybe if it makes sense in context, but not for the sake of itself. Yeah, I'm quite a preacher, unfortunately. But we had a mission. We wanted to do some disco funky funky.
Slap some real on that. If you say I should slap some drums on its heart, you mean kind of something like that, but I gotta pee it.
I struggle with drums the most. That is why we were very, very lazy to start doing this. Another cool functionality, if you are not aware, do you know what the snare, why the snare sounds good? It is one of the most beloved tricks I've heard years back. It's just any random snare, but I have to look what channel it is. Also, I have to put together a playlist. If you have a snare that needs more smack, either use tape compression. I mean, we are on Scream 4 also using a tape compression kind of thing, but sorry, this reverb is a little bit annoying. It is mostly the smack comes from straight from. I learned this trick. I don't know when, where, but let me bypass the snare. This is the snare as is. Like it's okay, but now it's got some because we want to be doing the hibbity hobbity boomity bobbity, right? Oops. Yeah, I need something else to do this, I think. How can I do this? Maybe. Oh, God. Yeah, I didn't put a snare in there. Didn't put a snare in there yet. That is not a plugin. That is a different thing. It's a standalone program that is called the Chordy app. It helps me to reverse learn music theory. and it looks weird, so you don't feel X-rayed. I have it in OBS as an overlay, and I just used some color correction because, like, how bright is this? And I do have a blue light filter, and I still feel like, ugh, I don't want to look at it. You could try to lay down some drums. But for a long time, before I was using Cordy, another thing that you could use actually is the chord sequencer that I also wanted to say. Like, I didn't play these keys, I could have, but I just used something I wanted to have it tune fast. Actually, my idea was to practice and track some guitar on top of that. What we have here is Keyscape. It's a Rhodes. We have the minor bossa La La Latin preset. I switched to the key of the practice that I'm currently practicing. That's around midnight from Thelonious Monk. And one of the best things yet, let me minimize my camera because you don't see me anyway. If you flip the rack, either on tap or you use this button here, there's one super cool functionality. In accordance with chord sequencer, you can create grooves kind of instantaneously when you send the root node CV output to what? To a different player. And where's that player? Well, that's the bassline player. And what will it do? It will make it so that we automatically have a bass line that is in key. How dandy is that shit? Seriously. Like, we could go to an empty template, and I'll show you how fast you can hear something without one MIDI node in the sequencer. Like, and I shouldn't have shifted this camera. Now I need to move it back. Like right now, let's turn everything off. This other thing is, we are just using players. We don't use any, we haven't written anything yet, okay? I really love going through this. This is why I love Reason, because I believe it actually is a tremendous help, because it is also simplified. You cannot plug or connect wrong ins and out. So you really have a chance to kind of physically understand the signal path, which is super. I love this. But coming back to this, like, say, let's do something with strings. We're gonna take a player. We're gonna take another chord and scales. We're gonna slap it on these strings. Then we're gonna choose something nice. Let's choose soul and R&B. Maybe 70s soul ballad, who knows? Let's choose the key. Ooh, yeah, I already like that. But because unfortunately this is not single articulation, there is a crossover at, I don't know, 3/4 of the maximum MIDI velocity value where it switches from sustain to trem. So we need to reduce this so we don't have tremolo. Damn. I like this already. Oh yes, it's gonna be good. Let's reduce this anyway. So now we have only strings, trem. Ain't that nice? It's cheating. It's straight up cheating. We don't do shit. Now we are going to send the root from this to the bass. So we have the bass with that too, right? Where is it? I'm gonna just change it up here. If we wanted to, we could use an audio merger splitter. We could have also used an audio merger and splitter, then we don't need to do that. Let's actually then do that, actually. And I need to stop saying actually. What am I looking? CV merger and splitter. Let's put this right there. Yeah, I don't really care. Okay, this goes in, hold up. This goes here. It's the merging side, right? Maybe I'll make this bigger. So we are merging the CV outs from both these, so we don't have to hook and unhook this stuff. So now we need what? We need to hook the other one. Root node CV out. Okay, fine. Let's start our little thing. As we can see, we have not put in one node. Nothing. This is the strings. Let's add the baseline. And we're just gonna be hunting for some random bassline that we like. We already know it's going to be in key. The question is only if we do like the rhythm. Let's add this percussion group. Amen. Happy creating. Catch you another time. I think we gotta increase the volume of the string slightly. Then we could do the finger drumming on top. Something. But I can't count rhythm at the moment. Alright, catch you guys later. Happy creating. Peace.